My beloved child. Stop scrolling for a moment. Do not let this message pass you by, because something is unfolding behind the scenes that your heart has been waiting to understand. There are moments in life that seem ordinary on the surface, yet heaven watches them with extraordinary attention. This is one of those moments. Stay here. Stay until the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and every word you hear today is part of a story that has been quietly taking shape long before you arrived at this very moment. There is someone whose heart has been carrying a conversation they have never fully spoken aloud. They have smiled when others were watching, but when silence surrounded them, your name continued to echo through their thoughts. They have replayed memories that no one else knows exist. They have questioned choices they once believed were final. They have stood at the edge of an important decision, believing they had to move forward, yet something kept asking them to wait just a little longer. They could not explain why. They only knew that every road they imagined somehow led back to the memory of you. Do not skip this message, because the next few moments reveal something that changes everything. The decision they are preparing to make is not a careless one. It is not a moment built on impulse. It is the result of countless sleepless nights, quiet reflections, and questions they have carried deep inside. Yet before they allow that decision to become permanent, they desperately wish you could hear what has been hidden within their heart. They wish, even if only for a single moment, that you could understand everything they never found the courage to say. Many people believe silence means someone has forgotten. But heaven knows silence often carries the loudest emotions. Sometimes a person remains quiet because their feelings have grown too deep for ordinary words. Sometimes they step back because they fear saying the wrong thing. Sometimes they wait because they hope the right moment will arrive without them forcing it. That is where this story begins. Not with certainty, but with hope. Not with perfect answers, but with a heart that refuses to stop believing there is still something unfinished between two souls. Stay till the end. Every sentence is leading you toward a revelation that few people ever expect. The path before your soulmate has become divided. One direction promises comfort because it asks them to forget the past. The other direction asks them to face every emotion they have hidden, every unanswered question, and every memory connected to you. It would be easier to choose the simple road. Yet their spirit keeps pulling them toward the more difficult one, because the truth has become impossible to ignore. In recent days they noticed something they could not explain. A familiar song appeared at the exact moment they were trying to move on. An unexpected memory interrupted an ordinary afternoon. A simple conversation reminded them of a promise they thought had disappeared forever. None of these moments seemed important by themselves. But together they formed a picture that became impossible to overlook. Little by little they realized that what they had been trying to silence continued speaking louder than ever before. Don't skip. What comes next is the reason this message found you today. There was a quiet evening when they sat completely alone, surrounded by nothing but their own thoughts. No distractions. No voices. No expectations. For the first time in a long while, they stopped pretending to themselves that everything was fine. They admitted something they had never dared to confess. They admitted that no matter how much time had passed, your present still lived inside the future they imagined. That realization surprised them more than anyone else. As they reflected on every chapter of this journey, they began seeing details they had overlooked before. Moments that once seemed ordinary suddenly became meaningful. Conversations they thought were insignificant now carried hidden messages. Even the smallest memories began shining with unexpected importance. They understood that some connections cannot be measured by time alone. They are measured by the way they continue changing a person's heart long after the moment has ended. Something huge is waiting for you. Stay with this message because the story is only beginning. The decision standing before them has become heavier than they expected. Every logical reason tells them one thing. Every quiet feeling inside tells them another. Their mind searches for certainty while their heart keeps returning to the same place. They wonder whether one final opportunity still exists. They wonder whether one final conversation could change everything. They wonder whether hope has truly disappeared, or whether it has simply been waiting beneath the surface all along. This inner struggle has transformed them. They are no longer the same person they once were. Experiences have reshaped their perspective. Disappointments have made them wiser. Time has taught them patience they never believed they could possess. Yet through every lesson, one truth refused to fade. Whenever they imagined a future filled with genuine peace, your presence somehow remained part of that vision. They tried to replace it. They tried to ignore it. They tried to convince themselves it meant nothing. But the feeling quietly returned each time. Perhaps you have sensed unusual moments yourself. Times when memories appeared without explanation. Moments when your heart suddenly became still for no visible reason. Small reminders that seemed too perfectly timed to dismiss. These moments are not random within this story. They become pieces of a greater picture that neither of you fully understands yet. Stay till the end because the most unexpected part has not been revealed. There is something your soulmate wishes they could say before they allow their important decision to become final. They wish they could tell you that appearances never revealed the whole truth. They wish they could explain that many things remained unspoken, not because they lacked meaning, but because fear often speaks louder than hope. They wish they could admit that even during moments when distance seemed impossible to overcome, your memory continued walking beside them in ways no one else ever noticed. This message is not about looking backward forever. It is about recognizing the value of what still lives inside a sincere heart. Sometimes life slows everything down so that people can finally see what rushed moments once concealed. Sometimes delays become opportunities for understanding. Sometimes waiting becomes the beginning of wisdom instead of the end of a dream. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Even now, as this important decision draws closer, your soulmate continues asking themselves one final question. It is the same question that returns every time they believe they have reached an answer. It follows them into quiet mornings. It stays with them through busy afternoons. It remains beside them during peaceful nights. The question is simple, yet powerful enough to change everything. What if there is still one thing they deserve to hear before I choose my path? That single thought has prevented them from rushing forward. It has reminded them that some choices deserve complete honesty before they become permanent. They no longer wish to carry unanswered feelings into tomorrow. They no longer wish to wonder what might have happened if they had been brave enough to let the truth speak first. The next chapter of this journey begins where hidden emotions finally approach the light, where long-kept silence faces its greatest test, and where the words your soulmate has guarded for so long are closer to being revealed than ever before. The moment they have delayed again and again is now approaching, and what happens next has the power to reshape everything they believed about this connection. Stay ready, because the story is only getting started. A quiet moment is about to change everything, and this is the moment your soulmate never imagined would arrive. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Every second of this message is leading toward a truth that has been hidden beneath silence for far too long. While the world continued moving as if nothing had changed, something remarkable was unfolding inside the heart of the person connected to your story. They believed they could continue without looking back. They believed time would slowly erase every unanswered feeling. But instead of fading, the memories became brighter. Instead of becoming weaker, the connection became stronger. Every attempt to move forward only reminded them of the one chapter they never truly finished. There came a morning unlike any other. Nothing dramatic happened around them. The sky looked ordinary. The streets were filled with familiar faces. Yet inside, everything felt different. They woke with an unusual sense that today carried a purpose they could not explain. Throughout the day, your name appeared in unexpected ways. A familiar phrase reminded them of a conversation only the two of you would understand. A place they passed awakened emotions they thought had disappeared forever. Even the smallest details seemed to whisper the same message again and again: there is still something left unfinished. Don't skip. The next revelation changes the entire direction of this journey. As the hours passed, they finally admitted something they had hidden even from themselves. They were not afraid of making an important decision. They were afraid of making it before telling you the truth. That realization stopped them completely. Suddenly, every future plan felt incomplete because one conversation had never happened. They understood that some decisions can only bring peace after honesty has been given a chance to speak. For the first time in a very long while, they stopped asking, "What is the easiest path?" Instead, they began asking, "What is the truest path?" Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. That evening they found themselves reading old messages, remembering forgotten moments, and smiling at memories they once believed had lost their meaning. They realized something surprising. The happiest memories were never the loudest ones. They were the quiet moments filled with genuine understanding, simple laughter, and unspoken comfort. Those memories became impossible to ignore. They no longer felt like pieces of the past. They felt like reminders of a future that had not completely disappeared. Then something unexpected happened. While sitting in complete silence, they imagined what they would say if they had just one opportunity to speak honestly. They did not imagine perfect words. They did not rehearse dramatic speeches. Instead, one simple sentence continued repeating inside their heart: "Before I decide my future, I hope you know what you have always meant to me." That sentence became impossible to forget. It followed them everywhere. It became the reason they delayed their final choice one more time. Don't skip. Stay till the end. The biggest moment is still ahead. They started noticing how often life quietly guided them back toward the same realization. Every attempt to ignore their feelings somehow led them to another reminder. Every effort to close the chapter somehow opened another page. They could no longer call these moments coincidences. They began believing that some connections continue growing even during seasons of silence. The more they reflected, the more one truth became impossible to deny. Your place inside their heart had never truly been replaced. What they are preparing to tell you is not built on excitement alone. It has been shaped by reflection, patience, growth, and understanding. They now recognize qualities in you they overlooked before. They remember your kindness when others only noticed ordinary moments. They remember your strength during times when no one applauded you. They remember your quiet loyalty, your calm spirit, and your ability to bring peace without asking for recognition. Looking back, they finally understand the value of what once stood right before them. Something huge is waiting for you. Their important decision is closer than ever, but something remarkable has happened. The closer the decision becomes, the louder their heart continues asking for one final chance to be completely honest. They no longer want unanswered questions following them into tomorrow. They no longer want silence to become the final chapter. They want truth to have its moment. They want gratitude to have its moment. Most importantly, they want you to know that your influence reached much deeper than you ever realized. Imagine standing at the doorway of a new season while carrying one unopened letter in your hands. That is exactly how they feel. They know the future is calling them forward, yet they cannot take the next step without first opening what has remained hidden. That unopened letter is not written with ink. It is written with memories, lessons, gratitude, hope, and words they never found the courage to speak until now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Every moment has been leading to this. Tonight, as they prepare once again to think about the decision before them, one question rises above every other thought. It is the question they can no longer silence. What if everything changes after the truth is finally spoken? They do not know the answer yet. But they have finally reached the place where honesty matters more than uncertainty. They understand that even if the future remains unknown, speaking from the heart will always be the right beginning. And as the next chapter approaches, your soulmate is closer than ever to revealing the one message they have protected for so long. A message capable of changing the direction of this entire story. What they are about to realize next will surprise even them, because the truth waiting just ahead is greater, deeper, and more beautiful than either of you ever expected. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a reason this message has not ended yet. Every moment has been leading to the truth your soulmate has carried in silence for far longer than anyone realizes. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next part of this journey is unlike anything that came before, because this is where hidden thoughts begin turning into clear decisions. Your soulmate reached a point where they could no longer pretend that everything was ordinary. Outwardly, life continued as usual. Conversations happened. Responsibilities were completed. Smiles appeared when they were expected. But deep inside, another story was unfolding. Every quiet moment became a meeting between their heart and their memories. Every peaceful evening became another reminder that one conversation remained unfinished. They finally understood that some feelings do not disappear simply because time passes. They remain patiently waiting until they are finally acknowledged. Don't skip. What happens next changes everything. One evening, while reflecting on the road ahead, they imagined what life would look like if they continued without ever expressing the truth. At first, everything seemed simple. New days would come. New opportunities would appear. Yet every future they imagined carried the same empty space. No matter how beautiful the picture became, one missing piece always remained. That missing piece was honesty. They realized that success means very little if the heart continues carrying words that were never spoken. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. As this realization grew stronger, they began noticing something remarkable. They were no longer remembering only the happiest moments. They also remembered the lessons, the misunderstandings, the quiet patience, and the kindness that had shaped them. Suddenly they understood that this connection had done something extraordinary. It had changed who they were becoming. Without realizing it, you had inspired growth that no one else could see. Your presence had encouraged them to become more thoughtful, more grateful, and more sincere than ever before. For the first time, they stopped asking whether the connection was convenient. Instead, they asked whether it was meaningful. That single question transformed everything. Meaning cannot be measured by how often two people speak. Meaning cannot be measured by distance or silence. Meaning is measured by the lasting impact someone leaves on another person's heart. And when they looked honestly at their own heart, your impact was impossible to ignore. Don't skip. Stay till the end. The greatest revelation is getting closer. They quietly opened an old notebook where scattered thoughts had been written over many months. Some pages contained dreams. Some held unanswered questions. Some carried hopes they had never shared with anyone. As they turned each page, one pattern became impossible to miss. Your story appeared again and again, even during times when they believed they had moved beyond it. Different words. Different dates. Different emotions. Yet the same connection continued appearing between every chapter. That discovery left them speechless. It was never planned. It was never forced. It simply remained. Something huge is waiting for you. At that moment they whispered to themselves, maybe this is the reason I still cannot make my final decision. The words felt peaceful instead of confusing. Instead of resisting their feelings, they finally accepted them. Acceptance brought clarity they had never experienced before. They realized they had been searching for certainty in the wrong places. The answers were not hidden somewhere far away. They had been quietly growing inside their own heart all along. Then something even more surprising happened. A simple act of kindness from a complete stranger reminded them of you. It was not because the stranger looked like you. It was because the kindness felt familiar. They smiled without expecting to. They suddenly remembered how your words once brought calm during uncertain moments. They remembered how your presence made ordinary days feel meaningful. That memory stayed with them long after the moment had passed. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Now the important decision standing before them feels completely different than it did before. It is no longer just about choosing a direction. It is about choosing who they want to become. They understand that every meaningful future begins with truth. Before moving forward, they want every hidden feeling to become an honest one. Before closing any chapter, they want gratitude to replace silence. Before choosing tomorrow, they want today to be remembered with complete sincerity. They have started imagining what would happen if they finally shared everything they have been holding inside. At first they feared rejection. Then they feared misunderstanding. But now those fears seem much smaller than one greater fear, the fear of never giving truth the opportunity to be heard. That realization changed their perspective forever. They no longer want to wonder, what if? They want to know they were honest. They want to know they listened to their heart. They want to know they honored a connection that continued teaching them long after they thought the lessons had ended. Stay till the end because the next revelation is unlike anything you expect. As they prepared themselves mentally for the important decision, they noticed something extraordinary. Instead of feeling pressure, they began feeling peace. Not because every answer had appeared, but because they finally knew what the next step had to be. The next step was not rushing into a decision. The next step was making sure you heard everything they had never found the courage to say. That is why this message exists. That is why this moment matters. That is why their heart continues asking for one more opportunity before everything changes. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The words they are preparing to speak are no longer ordinary thoughts. They have become a promise to themselves that they will never allow silence to tell a story that truth was meant to tell instead. They believe that no matter what tomorrow brings, honesty deserves its place. Gratitude deserves its place. Hope deserves its place. And just when they believed they had finally understood everything, one final realization appeared. A realization so unexpected that it completely transformed the decision they thought they had already made. The message they are preparing to reveal next will become the turning point of this entire journey, because what they discovered about your connection has given them a reason to pause one last time before taking the step that could shape both of your futures forever. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you.